Welcome. If you want to see your scary stories in my videos, you can email me. While I was about 15, my parents left me home alone while they were at a market in France right next to the German border. We were in Germany at the time, about 20 minutes from the border. I was on my computer browsing the internet when I suddenly heard small, soft footsteps. For some odd reason, I figured my parents had come home and bought me a ferret as a gift because I had wanted one for ages. I called out for my mom and heard no response. Suddenly, a tiny creature turned the corner. I realized almost immediately that it was not a ferret, but a squirrel. The squirrel ran into my room and I didn't have much time to react, still being in shock over the fact that there was a squirrel in my house. It ran towards my bed and jumped on my goddamn bed on my pillow where I was laying. I screamed like a banshee and immediately stood up and started prancing around in the corner like an English horse and unintentionally scared the squirrel out of my room, where it then ran into the bathroom across from my bedroom. I ran after the fuzzy intruder and slammed the bathroom door and left it in there. I picked up my phone and called my mom. When she answered, I started yelling, "Mom, Mom, please come home. There's a squirrel in the house." My parents both laughed at me and asked me to repeat myself and explain. I did so, and they said they were on their way home. Eventually, when they came home, my mom told me that when we open the door to be quiet and not scream out because we don't want to scare the little guy more than he already was. We all go into the bathroom together and we don't see the squirrel. Keep in mind our bathroom was unusually larger than my bedroom. Turns out it was hiding behind a crate of toiletries. Of course, as soon as it pops out, what does my mom do? Scream at the top of her lungs. The squirrel, now scared even more, runs out of the room and down the stairs where my fat lazy dog was laying. My dog had been there all along and did not notice the squirrel coming up the stairs. As soon as he noticed it this time, he chased after it. My dad ran down the stairs and restrained my dog as my mother opened our back door, where the little guy finally ran out, finally free. Late one Sunday night, I was coming home from a concert in Seattle. I thought I was going to get home around 2 a.m. and knew I was going to be tired because I had to teach a class at 8 a.m. Monday morning. About 1:45 a.m. and 20 miles from home, the lights on my car started to die. I got off at the next exit, CLELM, for all you Washingtonians, and my car died. Dead alternator. It was November and very cold out, otherwise I would have just slept in my truck, but I called someone back home for a ride. There weren't any city lights where my car died, and either Satan or a feral cat was outside screeching while I tried to catch a few Z's. I didn't get any sleep, and my ride showed up about 3:30 a.m. Also, I have to teach a class at 8 a.m. I get home, obviously carless, just before 4 a.m. and found out that I had left my keys in the car. No worries, I'll use the hidden key. Found my way up to my bedroom and laid down. I was all set to get about 3 hours of sleep. Remember, I have a class to teach at 8 a.m. I was just starting to drift off when I heard voices downstairs, which isn't abnormal as I rent a room to my brother who stays up all hours of the night. Then my bedroom door opened and all I said was hello. Next thing I know, there was a flashlight in my face along with a gun and a cop screaming at me, "Get your hands in the air." Hands in the air. I obliged, but the screaming cop didn't stop gun pointing or yelling. After about a minute of telling the office this was my own fucking bed, another cop came in with my brother saying it's okay. My brother explained to the cops that he thought I was going to be gone for the whole night when he heard someone in the house. He went and checked and my car wasn't there and neither was the hidden key, so he dialed 911. The cops left around 4:30 a.m. and I tried to sleep. I have a class to teach at 8 a.m. Needless to say, I didn't sleep. I told the story in class and they all understood why they were assigned meaningless tasks all day. I work from home and I lived in a 2-story home in a decent residential area. It was just before 7 a.m. The cell had already left for work, so it was me, my wiener dog, and my 3 cats at the house. I heard a noise downstairs, sounded like a cat rolling against the front door and shaking it in the door frame. I didn't really think anything of it at first, until my dog, still sleeping, woke up and growled. This kind of freaked me out, since he never growls. I looked around the room and noticed that I could see all of the cats, so the noise wasn't from one of them. Got a real creeped out feeling. I tiptoed to the front of the house, on the 2nd level, and peeked out the window. There was a car backed into my driveway. Odd. My brain was trying to rationalize why there would be a car in my driveway. Delivery? Emergency? Why didn't they use the doorbell? Why so early? So I crept down the stairs and peeked out the peephole in the door. Air hit my face, the peephole was empty. This is where I saw red. Some mother was stealing things off my porch and trying to break into my house? Not today. I flung open the door and started yelling at the guy on my porch, lots of profanities. WTF, are you doing MF? Get your fin hands off that. Not the smartest move in my life, but I was pissed. I went from creeped out to completely livid in a second. Didn't even consider my own safety. The guy looked like he was going to crap his pants and ran to his car, then leaned out to steal a solar lawn light. A lawn light. I yelled at him to get his hands off of it, and he listened. I saw that his trunk was open, and I saw my stuff in there. I only cared about getting my Buddha statue recovered. The guy gunned his car out of my driveway, and I ran after the car. In my pajamas. My fleecy, penguin-adorned pajama pants. I had my hand on my Buddha when he looked in the rearview mirror to see me, and he gunned it again, making the trunk shot on my arm. I stopped running, got the plate and booked it back to my house. I was shaking from the adrenaline and called the cops and then called my dad. Then I thought to call my so, probably a sign I shouldn't have been with the guy. My dad got there in record time, before the cops, and when the cop got there, one of the first things he said was, "Now don't go get a gun because of this." I was kinda irked that the cop took that angle with me and said, "I'm going to get a few baseball bats to keep by my doors so I can beat him with my own hands if this happens again." My dad looked slightly embarrassed. They were able to find the car, but the person who owned it didn't match my description of the guy who I confronted. Never recovered anything. Uneasy face. Slept terribly for the next few weeks. Any noise in the house would wake me up.